Hello student, today we discuss many questions of civil engineering for diploma candidates. So first question is the unit of measurement for concrete work in RCC is in cubic meter. Second, granite is mainly composed of quartz, feldspar and mica. The ratio of volume of voids to the volume of given soil is called porosity. The ratio of plasticity index to flow index is toughness index. Explanation. The toughness index (it) is defined as the ratio of plasticity index to flow index. It signifies the shear strength of soil at its plastic limit. Toughness index is the ratio of plastic index to the flow index. A volume of bag of cement weighing 50 kg is 0.034 cubic meter. Dogleg stair are half-ton stair. Dogleg stair are the stair which have the stair which is 180-degree transverse in direction. Half-ton stair change their direction through 180 degree. Half-ton stair is also known as dogleg stair or U-shaped stair are designed to turn 180 degree at L ending. The number of piles required to support a column is 3. The number of piles required to support a column depends on various factors such as load and capacity and structure design consideration. There are no fixed number of piles universally required for every column. Floating foundation is a type of raft foundation. Floating foundation is the type of foundation which spread all over the soil, like this is the soil and the foundation above it is floating, like this. So this floating is called raft foundation. The height of capillary rise in maximum in colloids. So colloids is the very small particles which is smaller than silt also. So where the size of the size of the particle proportional to the maximum rise in capillary. Capillary rise is defined as the upward rise of the water between the particle molecule of the soil. The height of capillary rise is inversely proportional to the size of the soil particle and directly proportional to the fineness of the soil. The finer the soil particle, the higher the capillary rise. Non-cohesive soil. Non-cohesive soil is defined as the attraction between the same particle is not there. So there will be silt, clay and silt. These three are having the attraction between the particle, but in sand there is no such kind of attraction between them. Poisson ratio is defined as lateral strain to linear strain. Lateral strain or linear strain we can also say longitudinal strain. The Poisson ratio is defined as lateral strain to the longitudinal strain. The ratio of stress to volumetric strain is known as bulk modulus. So stress, when a body is subjected to a stress, there will be certain deformation in volume. So stress by volume deformation is known as bulk modulus. The bending moment diagram for similarly supported beam with a point load, its midpoint will be a triangle. So here there is showing that when simply supported beam, one react here, there will be an hinge connection, there will be a roller connection, there will be hinge connection, there will be connection, and this is the SFD diagram. So maximum reaction will be there, and when the where the shear force and shear force changes sign, the here shear force changes sign, so there the shear force will be zero changing sign or zero shear force, then is equal to maximum bending moment. There is another MCQ which have came from the strength of material. An imaginary beam of which the load diagram is m by ei, the diagram will be conjugate beam. The strain energy is given by half into stress into strain into volume. Strain energy when mild stress strain diagram is like this for mild strain. Stress or strain. So when up to elastic point, when the stress proportional to strain, the area under this, area under this, area under this stress strain diagram is known as modulus of this is resilience. And when the volume is taken, it is called modulus of resilience. But when the whole area is taken, it is called toughness. When the volume is taken for whole, it is called modulus of toughness. So strain energy is the stress strain into volume. The formula for stress strain energy U is given by the area under the stress strain curve. The unit of torque is Newton meter. Torque is defined as the rotational equivalent force of is calculated as product of the force and the perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation to the line of action of force. The stress on principal plane is zero. There will be zero. In a simply supported beam having uniformly distributed load W per whole span, the maximum bending moment will be located at the formula WL square by 8. The point of contact fracture occurs in case of overhanging beam only, due to change in bending moment signs. Point of contact fracture is the point where this kind of bending moment diagram occurs. Because of this point is called point of contact fracture. Point of contact fracture (POC). This bending moment diagram negative, positive, negative, where bending moment changes sign. In that point of contact fracture will occur. The unit of measurement for steel work in trusses it is parts is in quintal. Quintal is an unit of mass weight commonly used in India. 1 quintal is equal to 100 kg. Full form of part it is program evaluation and review technique. Is program evaluation and review technique. Bearing capacity of the soil may be improved by increasing the depth of foundation. By increasing the depth of foundation, we can increase the bearing capacity of the soil. The active earth pressure of the soil is defined as the lateral earth pressure exerted by the when it is at rest, when movement relative to the backfill tends to move away from the backfill when the retaining starts. Active earth pressure when the retaining wall tend to move away from the backfill. When there is when there when retaining wall go away from the backfill, it is called active earth pressure, and when the retaining wall go into the earth field, it is called passive earth sphere. When it is no movement, then it is called at rest. Coefficient of earth pressure at rest is given by mu. Divided by 1 minus mu. The coefficient of active earth pressure for granular soil is given by the angle of internal friction of the soil 1 minus sin phi divided by 1 plus sin phi. The soundness cement is tested by Lee-Chatelier apparatus method. Here is another important short notes type question. So there is Lee-Chatelier apparatus used for free lime or magnesia content, which is used for soundness test. Picard apparatus is used for consistency and setting time, air permeability, fineness. Bucket apparatus is used to define the initial setting time, final setting. All of the above is be correct. Seasoning of the timber. Increase the weight of the timber, improve the strength properties and the timber, decrease strength properties of the timber. Increase strength properties of the timber. The expansion in Portland cement can be tested by soundness test. The role of water cement ratio to establish किसने water cement ratio establish किया था तो होगा डाफ अब्राहम. The standard sand now used in India is for N-Node Chennai. The bottom die, top die, and the height of the slump cone are respectively. So when the slump is like this, where the bottom is 30, no, 20, 10, and this height is 30. This also known as first term of cone, 20, 10, 30. Gypsum is added to the manufacture. Gypsum is added to the manufacture of the Portland cement in order to lengthen the setting time of the cement, shorten the setting time of the cement, decrease the grinding time. There is the lengthening this setting time of the cement, which means gypsum is added to delay the setting of the cement. The ratio of movement produced at a joint to movement applied at the other joint without displaying it is called carryover factor. The critical gradient of the seepage of water in the soil medium is specified by as specific gravity E by ratio. So there will be G minus 1 divided by 1 plus E. The workability of the concrete slump test is expressed in mm. A secondary apparatus used to determine liquid limit. The effective size of the soil is D10. The unit weight of the plain concrete is generally taken as 24 kN per meter cube. The critical gradient of seepage of water in soil medium is G minus 1 divided by 1 plus E. In chain survey, the area is divided into triangles. In optical square, the mirrors are fixed at an angle of 45 degrees. The operator was suitable for the survey of rivers. In plane table survey, the operation which must be carried out is orientation. The surface of still water is considered to be level. Level is given as the surface perpendicular to the direction of the gravity in all points. The level surface is an earth when there is an earth and the distance from the center of the earth there is equal distance from the center of the earth to the point of earth is called level surface. The line joining point of equal elevation is known as contour line. Contour line. Contour line is represented equal elevation on a map. A three-dimension in which telescope can be revolved through a complete revolution in a vertical plane is known as transit theodolite. In Simpson formula, the number of ordinates must be odd. The flow of water in a process media can be turbulent also. Which source of water among the following is not a surface source? Well. Well is not a source of surface because underground seeping to the well is there. The average annual rainfall in a figure is obtained by taking average period of a 35 years. Average rainfall can be taken by 34 years and normal annual rainfall is 30 or 50 years. Groundwater is usually free from suspended impurities because between the soil particle the filtration process was done. As groundwater percolates through layer of the soil and rock, this layer acts as natural filter, effectively removing suspended particles like silt, clay, debris, while some dissolved impurities may remain. Safe water is which does not contain pathogenic bacteria. Which of the following below pH is stronger? The lower value of the pH is stronger, acidic, and higher value of the pH is basic. The setting velocity, the settling velocity of inorganic particle in sedimentation tank of water treatment plant is given by Stokes law. In a fluid, steady flow occurs when conditions of the flow do not change with time. Most efficient channel section is semicircular. Most efficient channel section is semicircular. The instrument used for measuring velocity of the flow is known as pitot tube. Pitot tube used for the knowing the velocity of the flow. Energy equation is usually for steady flow. The velocity of the fluid particles at the center of the pipe is maximum because when there is flowing water which flow between the pipes, there is resistance between the surface of the pipe, but in middle there is no resistance to the water particles. Falling drop of water becomes fair due to surface tension. Water belongs to Newtonian fluid. The digested sludge from septic tank is generally removed after 3 years. In a canal, siphon flow is pipe flow. Irrigation lines are generally along ridge line. The depth of rice root zone is 90 centimeters. For standing crop in underutilized fields, the best method of the irrigation is sprinkler irrigation. The measure to remove waterlogging of land is to reduce the percolate from the canal and to increase the outflow from the groundwater reservoir, both A and B and C. Useful soil moisture for plant growth is capillary water. In waterbound macadam road building material to hold stone is stone dust. In case of multi-road, overtaking is generally permitted from both right and left. Gauge is a permanent wedge, minimum distance between turning faces of the rail. Minimum gradient of the station years is 1 in 1000. Arrangement made to divert transition from one track to another is turnout. Indian Railway standard length of rail of broad gauge is 12.8 meter. Minimum stopping distance moving vehicle on the road with a design speed of 80 km per hour is 120 meter. Convexity provided to carriageway between the crown and the edge. The convexity provided between the crown and the edge it is called camber. Camber. Hydrology is the science we deal with the surface and underground water. The effluent of the septic tank is foul contain dissolved and suspended solids. The bacteria which require free oxygen for their survival is aerobic bacteria. The specific gravity of stone should not be in case be less than 2.5, range 2.5 to 2.8. The first class bridge should not have minimum crushing strength of 10.5 meganewton per meter square. The main constituent of Portland cement is lime. The final setting time for ordinary cement should not be more than 10 hours. Which of the following statement is correct? The spent the sand used for making mortar the sand used for making mortar should be fine. The required grain of the sand produces a strong mortar. The mortar made with coarse sand is stronger than the one made with the lime. All of the above. The mortar made with the coarse sand is stronger than one made with fine sand. The durability of the concrete is proportional to water cement ratio. The slam test of concrete is used to measure its consistency. A foundation consisting of the thick reinforced concrete slab covering the entire area of the bottom of the structure is known as raft foundation. In combined footing, depth of footing varies, width of the footing varies, center of the all of these are correct. A type of bond in a brick masonry consisting of alternate course of adherent structure is called English bond. In stair, the vertical portion of the stair providing a support to tread is known as riser. The cement, which is commonly used in all types of structure and require no special consideration, is called normal setting cement. Whenever some external system of forces acted on a body, it undergoes some deformation. As the body undergoes some deformation, the resistance per unit area to deformation is called stress. When a body is subjected to two equal opposite pull, as the result of which the body tends to extend its length, the strain intended is tensile stress and tensile strain. The ratio of linear stress to linear strain is Poisson ratio. The modulus of elasticity. When change in length takes place, the strain is known as linear strain. The strain energy is the energy stored in the body within the elastic limit. The bending moment on a section is maximum where shear force is zero or changing sign. A section of the beam is said to be pure bending if it is subjected to constant bending moment and zero shear force. At the neutral axis of a beam, the layer don't undergo only any strain. The maximum unit pressure that is soil can withstand rupture to shear or without excessive settlement of structure is called ultimate bearing capacity. The property of the soil which is great importance in finding settlement of the structure is consolidation. The ratio of unit weight of the soil solid to the water is called specific gravity. The void ratio of a soil is defined as the ratio of total volume of the void to the volume of the soil solids. The lateral earth pressure exerted by soil when retaining wall moves into the soil is passive earth pressure. The workability of the concrete is defined as the assay with which it can be, this answer will be correct, transported, position and the homogeneous state. The continuous strain which concrete undergoes due to application of the external load is called creep. The steel mold used in slump test is the form of frustum of cone. If the slump of the concrete mix is 70 mm, its workability will be medium. Construction cement in cement concrete should be located where the bending moment is large, should be located where the shear force is large. The answer will be A, should be bending moment where large. The ratio of volume of moist sand to the volume of dry sand is known as bulking factor. The fineness modulus of sand is 3, then the sand is graded as fine sand. The control concrete is used for all 7 grades of concrete mix. When a body is subjected to their mutually perpendicular stresses of equal intensity, the ratio of direct stress to the corresponding volumetric strain is bulk modulus. When a load on free end of a cantilever beam is increased, failure will be at fixed end. When cantilever load is increased, the failure will be there in fixed end. The shear force diagram of a cantilever beam of length L and carrying a uniformly distributed load of W per unit length will be a right angle triangle. When there is a sudden increase or decrease in shear force diagram between any 2 points, it indicates there is a point load at the 2 point. When a cantilever beam is loaded with its free end and maximum compressive strength that develop at bottom fiber, a first-class rig should not absorb water more than 20% of its own weight after 24-hour immersion in water. A good building stone is one which does not absorb water more than 5%. The property of the fluid exchange the volume under external pressure is known as compressibility of the fluid. Gauge pressure is absolute pressure minus atmospheric pressure. A rise or fall of liquid in glass tube is very small diameter when the latter is dipped in it, directly proportional to the force per unit length of periphery. On the inclined plane, center of the pressure is located below the centroid. The velocity of the fluid particle at the center of the pipe section is maximum. The ratio of hydraulic radius pipe running full water to the hydraulic radius of the same section of the channel whose side is equal to diameter of the pipe is 0.75. The most economical rectangular section of the channel, the depth is equal to half of the width. The cross section of the most efficient channel section is semicircular. Which of the following solid waste disposal method is more environment composting? SPM respiratory system, NO vegetation, CO blood hemoglobin, SO2 building material. In context with water polluted with sewage, and what does BOD signify? Biochemical oxygen demand. Iron may be present in significant quantities in septic tank effluent. Major air pollutant from thermal power station are fly ash and SO2. The most commonly used disinfectant of water is chlorine. Irrigation canals are generally aligned along the ridge line. Silicosis is caused by stone crusher. Silicosis is caused by stone crusher. The useful moisture of the soil, which is equal to the field saturation capacity, is difference between the field capacity and the permanent wilting point within the root zone of the plant. The topsoil of a waterlogged become very alkaline. If its pH value also become higher, the soil become partially infertile if its pH value is 11. The most suitable location for canal head work is boulder stage of the river. When canal is carried below a natural drainage such that its FSL does not touch the underside of the supporting structure, the structure so provided. Siphon aqueduct. A land is said to be waterlogged if soil pours within the root zone of the crop as a saturate. Minimum value of the camber provided for bituminous surface hill road is 2.5. The cast used for recording the condition of the track is known as Alade cart. Point and crossing are provided for change of dash on permanent ways. Direction. In board gauge, the clear horizontal distance between inner faces of the track to inner faces of the there is 1.676 meter. The force which resists the forward movement and speed of the train is called friction. 8.64 B by D, that is delta. It is an equation. If delta is the depth of water in meter, B is the number of the days in base period, and D is the duty in hectare per cubic, then del is equal to 8.64 B by D. In diamond crossing, the number of the noses are 4. Taking of the ballast is done under the slipper throw by compacted. The minimum length of passenger platform for broad gauge railway should not be less than 183 meter. In railway, super elevation is provided to counteract the centrifugal pull. To counteract the centrifugal push. In hilly roads, side train are provided only on hill side of the road. If the staff is not held vertical at the leveling staff, the RL calculated from the is more than through RL. If the RL is not vertical, the distance RL is calculated to its level which will be very more. The imaginary line passing through the intersection of the crosshair and the optical center of the objective is known as line of collimation. The back side of the stab is of having R reduced level 300 meter and instrument height 2.685 meter. B is 1.35. The RL of the point will be benchmark plus height is equal minus 1.8 1.345. So the RL of B point will be 301.340. A series of closed contours of values decreasing toward the center series are represent a depression without an outlet. A chain survey is a tie line primarily provided to avoid long offset from other chain lines. In setting up a plane table at any station, the leveling and centering are done simultaneously. The area of any irregular figure can be calculated accurately with any meter. The theodolite employed for tachymetry was steady, which differ from any ordinary transit only is having the diaphragm fitted with the two additional horizontal hair. So today is the ending of the all this MCQ. अगर आप लोगों को अच्छा लगा और ऐसा ही स्टेट है जेई और पीएसयू के लिए अगर डिप्लोमा लेवल के लिए आपको क्वेश्चन चाहिए तो आप कमेंट में मुझे बता सकते हैं। तो आज के लिए इतना ही। बाय।